Happy International Women's Day, Haushal.
Happy International Women's Day to you too.
Haushal is the founder director of Children and Youth First, Nepal. She is also the co-founder and creative director of Haushal Creatives, and she works with her mother Rupa and her sister Samantha in Haushal Cooperative. And if that was not enough, Haushal is also the country director for Fashion Revolution Nepal. But from what I understand, Haushal considers herself first and foremost an educator.
Now I'm going to introduce the mission director of USAID, Sepideh Keyvanshad. She has been working in the development field for the past 25 years, is a mother of 2 kids.
So why don't we start with you actually telling me a little bit about yourself, what I didn't talk about, and just how you got into all the work that you do.
I started Children Youth First at the age of 22 years old by rescuing 14 kids from an orphanage. I studied social work. This whole journey didn't really start with a specific plan. It was more of understanding and knowing that what is right to do. I would like to know what started your journey in the development field with.
I wanted to work internationally. I wanted to do something that was just really interesting. I always wanted to do something that I felt that I had a responsibility, I think, to do what was right really for the world around me.
So if I may ask you, what has the role of women been in like the past?
You know, there are certain jobs, there are certain areas that up until now have been considered female, and there are certain areas that are considered male. At the same time, those who have had the higher level positions haven't always been women. So women do development, but they haven't necessarily been the leaders, they haven't been, you know, in the positions of power. It has been changing. It has been changing. Like USAID now actually has a lot more women at the senior levels. So I'm interested to see how it is in your world, right? Because I work in the government, but being an entrepreneur. So what has been your experience?
In the past years, one of the most challenging thing for me as an individual, but also as a gender, has been the gender norms that society puts us into, which is specifically in the work that I do when I have to meet with community leaders or government leaders and have conversations. They really don't look at me and talk. They look at my partner or somebody who's a male counterpart or a man. And even when I'm talking, they try to answer my question looking at somebody else. So Sepideh, I wanted to ask you, what does an equal future mean, and what does it look like for women?
To me, an equal future means that we are all allowed, we are all permitted, and we all feel okay to actually act on all of our power and all of our drive and just all parts of us. If you start from that foundation, from that basic, then you are really allowing everyone, regardless of who you are, where they're born, how they're born, what color, what religion, then they choose. And I think for me that is equality, because then it's up to you which of that you act on.
In the past years, like women have given themselves the permission to do what they want to do. And I think so that's been a huge like shift and change as well in the past few years.
Yeah, and I like what you said, giving yourself permission. It's up to us to give ourselves permission, not waiting for someone else to give us the permission. As a woman, do you feel that your leadership has looked different?
I feel like being a woman in leadership in the past years have like, the term itself has also like really like evolved and changed. There are other hurdles for a lot of other challenges for women. Especially with like COVID-19, like the gender norms were like again like re-amplified in terms like, oh, you're working from home was like more difficult in terms of like you're doing other stuff with your kids and you were expected to like do other things around the house, but then you're still working from home. So that had like a lot of mental labor in it. But at the same time, as a woman leader, I feel like for me, I'm not in the position I am just because of what I did. I feel it's because of the friends that I am surrounded by, people that I work with, help me and recognize me as a women leader. What
Yeah.
about you?
As I look on it now that my kids are grown and, I have gone through, a few decades of my career, what was at that point incredibly challenging and they were frustrating at times, I find that they have made me a better person today. And I think a better leader today. It has allowed me to really focus on different traits, empathy, kindness, compassion, patience. It has allowed me to really bring in all of these different traits that are generally associated with women, but not necessarily as leaders, and really integrate all of them. Well, Haushala, it was wonderful to meet you. I had such a great time talking to you, getting to know you, just really, and I did learn from you, so you are an educator.
Thank you so much, Sepideh. It was mutual. The feeling is mutual, and I feel like there's a really bright future for women, and changes possibilities, creates possibilities.
It does.
Yeah.